It's so often the case that we find that the very traits and things about who they are that got them the level of success that they got are actually, without working with them and on them, are actually going to be the thing that keeps that ceiling of them not being able to move further or move forward through it.
This is the Born to be Brilliant podcast, helping you harness the habits and unlock the tools to bring you more meaning, vibrance, and the personal power to help you shine like the diamond you are.
Hey guys, so you guys know probably by now that human optimization is my jam, and it has been for a really, really long time. And since I launched my other business, the Sleep Nanny, back in 2014, even 2013, the beginnings of that were in place, that was all about human optimization. It always has been about how we can be at our best in every single way. And what I love is over the past 2.5 decades being in business, I've really seen it all, quite honestly. I feel like I have seen it all, what works, what doesn't, what happens through economical times of challenge and economical times that are really bizarre and unheard of, and how things have shifted with technology. And again, people that know me well know that I'm a definite tech fan. I'm very comfortable with tech, and I enjoy tech, and I like figuring it out and learning how to use it. And I really do feel like it gives us a lot of leverage, which is why I'm able to do this podcast right now, and why so many of you have been able to create businesses by leveraging technology and using the internet. So I've seen a lot, and I've seen a lot of change and growth. And one thing I find with the work I do in human optimization, particularly for entrepreneurs, is it comes down to identity. And as we optimize the human, the person, identity is a piece of that. It's not all of it, but it's one piece of that. And to be at our full potential, to really dig in and pull out the best of what we are here on this planet to do, be, have, create, enjoy, we need to be connected to that and understand what our identity is saying. And quite often that gets misaligned. So I don't know if this resonates, but throughout our ages and stages, we go through different identities anyway, right? From child to young person, maybe a student, to maybe a parent, to an empty nester, a grandparent. There's all these different phases and stages. And these different things create different identities or layers of our identity as we go. And they will change. It's not something that stays the same the whole way throughout our life. There will be little threads that do stay the same, though. There'll be things about you now that you know have always been like that since childhood. And there's some things like that that are really, really good. And there are some things that actually are negative or hindrances. And awareness of these can be so powerful. So when I work one-to-one particularly, or at a high level with high-performing entrepreneurs, it's so often the case that we find that the very traits and things about who they are that got them the level of success that they got are actually, without working with them and on them, are actually going to be the thing that keeps that ceiling of them not being able to move further or move forward through it. So when people say, I just can't push past 20K months, or I've reached, it's usually income. It's usually an income ceiling, a satisfaction ceiling, something where they're like, just can't get past this. What is it? Like, I know what I'm doing. What is it? What is it? And quite often the traits that they love about themselves, or that they have leveraged to get where they have got, of course they don't want to, shake those off, because they are powerful, right? But without fully understanding that power, it's just like magic. I feel like we are like magic. We have magical powers that if you start misfiring with your magic, you are going to get a different result. So, for example, let me give you a really, I think, really understandable example, relatable example here. Quite often, so an entrepreneur by nature is a risk taker. Entrepreneurship is risk and time. Like, they're the two key things that you've got to be okay with. Things taking time and being able to take a risk. If you are an entrepreneur, you probably have grit, you probably have determination, you probably see bigger picture things, and you probably do take a decent amount of ownership for your reality, and you don't place that expectation outside of you. We can all slip into that at times, but typically that's probably how you operate. What can often fuel a lot of that, and I'm not a proponent of hustle culture, as they call it, but working hard, or whatever you want to call it, but being able to dig in and keep going, working beyond your 9 to 5s, but maybe getting up early, maybe cracking out late nights, maybe, pulling in pockets of time at weekends, like doing what it takes, basically, whatever that might look like, is no stranger. You're no stranger to doing that kind of thing. But that could be coming from a nervous system wiring of survival mode. And it quite often is. And you may or may not know why or what that stems from, or maybe you do. Maybe like, yeah, and it's really obvious why, because this is my story and this is my journey. Or you might not know why, and you might think, oh no, well, I haven't experienced these things, and so there's no reason for me to operate in survival mode. It could go so deeper, that like so much deeper, or into your subconscious, or into even generational nervous system wiring. There's science and studies on this that literally show how we absorb into our blood elements of our mother's nervous systems. It's crazy how much we are our past generations. We are, at a cellular level. So somewhere in there, let's not dissect where right now, but somewhere in there, you could be operating from survival mode. And this is quite likely true in a lot of cases with entrepreneurs. It also looks very similar to how somebody with ADHD operates. And I would say I relate to both of these. As somebody with ADHD, I get it. It may or may not. But it doesn't actually matter, because the point is, if you are wired that way and you have operated in this way that has got you so far, because it will, right? Because you're able to show up when everyone else goes, I'm done, I'm going to bed. You keep going when everyone says no. You put in the work. You get told no, you reinvent, you go again. Like, this is the essence of what got you there, right? This is the thing that people have applauded you for, that people have said, well done you, you've been praised for, because you're busy, because you work so hard, or you get that, like, I'm so proud of you. It keeps you going at that level. But the problem is, it will get you so far, but if you continue to stay in survival mode and in survival energy inside your system, the cracks will start to show. And they can show in the most crazy, strange ways. If you find yourself 1 minute you're full of beans, and the next minute you're freaking out because of the slightest bit of mess in your environment, whether you're someone that's all right with mess or not, I'm not suggesting you're a neat freak if you do, but if you find it, irrationally or overwhelmed, like all the time, it just feeling like it's all too much. Simple things that should just kind of be life, just going through life, like, yeah, that thing just happened and I just did it and that was fine. But you're feeling like can't cope with that thing. Like, no more stuff. Oh, too much. Like, overwhelm, irritation, being snappy, disconnection, even disconnecting from friends, spouses, even, it could be children even, you might, like, people will say, yeah, actually, I've withdrawn. Like, these are probably parts of you or behaviors that you won't necessarily like about yourself or feel very proud of. So I'm going to just say it, and you can just quietly feel inside if you're like, yeah, that one resonates. But these can all be signs and indicators that you're operating in survival mode. So you're so used to it, it actually doesn't matter how much money you make, how much security or certainty you build in. you continue to operate like this in certain ways. And it just gets worse if you are having a little bit of a cash flow issue, or if there's something you feel like you're losing grip of, you ramp it up. And it could be anything. Like, it doesn't may not be money. It could be a situation. It could be personal or work. It could be a relationship. It could be anything. But if there's something that you feel like you're losing a grip on, your survival mode behaviors start coming through in every angle. And the problem is, and this is why you'll get people who will reach levels of so-called success, success from the outside, looking like they have it all, the money, the lifestyle, the people, and they are so miserable inside because it sort of never is going to be enough. And the reason it's never going to be enough is because their nervous system has not been recalibrated and calmed down to a place that it can hold what it has. And then from there, you can then have more, create more, be more, do more, whatever it might be. It's like whatever. Some people might think, well, why would you even need more? You may, more of something, more purpose, more growth, more contribution to the world, more connection. Like, there's always room for something more. That's why we're here, right? We don't just, in my opinion, come along on this planet, pop along and then go, yeah, I just, did everything I could to survive. I survived and survived and survived and I died. We're here for more than that. I honestly believe that every human being has a purpose within them that is linked to humanity and to making some kind of impact on this world and on our species, and life on this planet. I really do believe that. And that doesn't mean everybody is a leader. I've said this before. Some people, their purpose is to care for certain groups of people, or to educate them or to raise them up, but that's a contribution. That's all a contribution. So there's something that you are uniquely gifted and just made for, with who you are at your actual core, not just what you learned or studied or whatever, that who you are. And it has a purpose to add something. And at the end of the day, when all is said and done, you'll be like, yep, I found what it was. I locked into that and I utilized it and I made the most of it. That's all you got to do. And then you'll feel fulfilled. But what often happens is we either don't, but you're probably not listening to this podcast if you're one of those people, or more likely this audience is you do, but you get stuck and you know that there's something more for you. You're built for more, you're made for more, you've seen other people and gone, how on earth have they done this, and this? What am I missing? And actually what you're missing is inside somewhere. So what we do, we recalibrate, we work with that human. Identity, as I said, is a piece of this, but when you lose that identity, which we do, sometimes we do, and sometimes we need to shed it. We literally need to go, that is not who I am anymore. That's that's me 1.2, and now I need me 2.0 to step up to the plate because that previous me can't do this anymore. It can be like a period of grief, of letting go of a previous identity. And before you realize that, often you're walking around in the woods going, I don't even know who I am anymore. I don't even know who I am right now. What, how do I know what to do if I don't even get who I am right now? And I've been there, I've experienced that, and it's rubbish at the time. But what I've learned is that if that creeps in, is to go, okay, this is telling me something. This means that there's a breakthrough coming, there's another level coming, and you can't access more unless you trudge through those dips. The path does not just go upwards. It's up and down all the time, and you have to go down to go back, to go up higher. So if you feel like that, or ever have felt like that, if you've ever felt lost, or in a stage of like identity shift or identity change, embrace that. It means something. And don't spend years and years wandering around with your, head lost in the clouds and waiting for it to just land. Because yes, space is great. Absolutely. I advocate that, and giving things time, and you can't force these things. But connecting with people who get it, having conversations with other human beings, it always unlocks something. It always gives you a different perspective and helps you see things from another angle. And quite often, it's easier to see something looking in than it is from inside, right? So I can't emphasize enough how powerful having that assistance is. So where I come in is I work with the mind, body, and soul to align all of those things, as most of you know. And I think that's crucial, because you can't just change your thinking. Changing your thinking is a massive, really important thing. In fact, it's the root of a lot of positives and good answers. So yes, we do need to change our psychology, or upgrade our psychology. Our physiology, our body, our physical state needs to align with that. If they disagree, like, you're gonna be imbalanced, you're gonna have a rocky path. But the cherry on top, and the bit that's so often missing, is that inner, the soul part, the inner wisdom, the intuition, the purpose. And I don't mean your why in the I guess high level version of why. I mean real meaning and purpose, that's like what you're here for, in a big way, or in a deep way. And when those things align, that is when your ultimate brilliance shines. And that is when you unlock the very thing that you're like, why can't I just do that? And this isn't a one and done. This isn't like, yeah, okay, so I'll do that, and then that's all just done for life. No, you do it, and then you go to another level, or whatever you do, and you create and be and have and enjoy, and then you kind of come back to it and you upgrade again. It's like constant upgrades. That's what we do. We upgrade the human operating system. So I hope you've enjoyed this conversation, sort of about identity. It was kind of meant to be about identity, but I think we talked about identity in hopefully a slightly different way to how you've possibly heard of it before. It is a key piece. It's a really key, really important piece of the puzzle when it comes to optimizing us as human beings. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you in the next one.
I hope you enjoyed this episode, and remember, go out there and shine your light bright, because you were born to be brilliant.